Burrow airs it out. Chase. Hello. Touchdown.
And I got a voice inside that needs to be fed. Causing chaos everywhere I land.
Are two of the best historically, just not thus far. Against these receivers.
Making judgments again, and there is Smith roaming free, breaks a tackle. Ohio State strikes quickly.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ohio Sports Talk. I am your host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxson, and we are live. How you doing, Jordan?
I'm hanging in there. It was a bit of a long weekend between free agency, some awesome games. I want to start the program with just a quick shout out. Alter men's high school basketball, hell of a run. We got to the quarterfinals. We lost to Wyoming on Sunday. It was definitely a tough one to take on the chin. We played in a Centos Center right here in Cincinnati. That ugly Musketeer University place. That's why last year we wanted an UD. So it was a hell of a run. My heart goes out to the seniors, Charlie Hewells and company. Mike Freshwater will get you on when you get to digest the loss. Just a heartfelt shout out to the boys. They fought to the very end and just didn't go our way. It wasn't our night, but the Alter Knights will ride again, Douglas, and now all eyes for football season. So we going to start hitting the weight room with the boys here this week, and we're going to take it to the next level. So
hell yeah! So quick shout out to Alter Knights, Jordan. We've got a loaded show tonight. We've got a lot to cover. We're going to kick it off with NFL free agency. We're going to be covering our Bengals, our Browns. We're going to get into some of the ins and outs of what's going on there. And we're going to touch on, the Myles Garrett signing, some of that kind of stuff. And then we're going to get into March Madness. We are getting ready for conference tournaments. We're getting ready to start conference tournaments. Then we're going to talk, a little news and notes, a little FC Cincinnati, a lot to get to tonight. So quick shout out, Browns fangirl already in the chat, Roger Straz from Red Hot Reds. If you have not checked out Red Hot Reds yet, please head over to our YouTube channel. They have their own playlist there. They are doing excellent work. So far, 3 episodes in. Please give them a check out there. Ricky Logan and Roger Straz do so much good work for the Reds. And Jordan, let's get right into it, buddy.
Browns fangirl. She runs her own thing too. It's definitely worth a check out if you're a Browns fan. Been trying to get her on. Maybe we can finally convince her to come to the dark side.
All right, let's move on. Let's get it started, Jordan. Bengals and Browns free agency. Let me start with this, Jordan. Today, the Browns made a move that made me question reality for a little while. They made me kind of wonder if I am actually a fan of this franchise, Jordan. They really put my fanhood to the test today. Today, they traded DTR and a pick for Kenny Pickens. One of, is he a slight upgrade over DTR? Yes, but that is so minute, and he is such a bad football player that it makes me question Andrew Berry as a human being. I mean, it's just awful, Jordan. It is awful. Quickly, Saints re-signed Chase Young, so he will not be a Bengal this year. But moving forward, Jordan, on a Mary Kay Cabot tweet, Jordan, I responded and I said somebody. This is where I've been at today, Jordan. I said someone in all caps attempt to spin this signing or this trade in a positive way for me. Try to spin this Kenny Pickens addition in a positive way, Jordan. So far, we got 104 favorites, 24 responses. A lot of them were joking. He is the only Browns player with Super Bowl experience. I did get a laugh out of that. The other was he's slightly better than DTR. And then you got a lot of people saying they don't know what the Browns are doing. They don't know what's going on. Zach Smith, guaranteed first overall pick next year for the Browns. It's so bad, Jordan.
I mean,
it's what makes it worse is they're trading him to giving him an opportunity to start for this team. He's coming in to compete for the job. This is bullshit.
Do you believe that?
Bullshit.
Do you believe that, or
who is one of the best Browns reporters? She reported that he is coming in to compete for the job. Absolutely insanity by this front office. Insanity. I don't know what the plan is here for this team, but how do you go from now signing Myles Garrett yesterday to a $40 million a year contract, making him the highest paid player ever besides quarterback? How do you go from that? And then you trade for Kenny Pickett? Are you serious? And you're giving him an opportunity to start? This guy is dog shit. We used to make fun of this guy when he was playing for the Steelers with his small hands because he couldn't throw the fucking ball, Jordan. And now we're going to for this guy? We used to relish the opportunity to play against him because he's awful and can't throw the ball. It was a field day.
Do you think his time in Philly made him better, though?
Fuck no, he didn't get to play. His Philly highlight is him trying to throw the ball, and he holds on to it the whole way and spins himself into the dirt for a fumble. This is absurd. This is awful. It is awful. It's a bad signing. I don't care if he's the third quarterback on the roster. I don't care what he is. That is a absolute waste. The fact that he's slightly better than DTR, you got to get out of here with that shit. You got to absolutely get out of here with that shit. And I'm sorry that I'm kicking it off in this way. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. But God dang, is that frustrating as a fan of this team. Yeah, I know we need a quarterback, man. I know we need a quarterback.
Correct.
But why waste anything on a guy who the Steelers got rid of him before his rookie contract was up, Jordan? They weren't paying him jack shit. The Eagles just traded him for DTR. He can't make a throw without turning the ball over. And we're going to take Kenny Pickens? You got to be fucking me right here, man.
DTR plays more to the Philadelphia style.
Congrats.
Just out there.
Congrats. Jordan, you've got bigger hands than Kenny Pickett. I mean, what are we doing here? If you wear two gloves and you play quarterback, I would never, ever have you on my roster. Ever. Jordan, let's talk about the Bengals free agency. No. Let's talk about Bengals free agency.
I'm going to defend the gloves because Kurt Warner.
Oh, my God. Kurt Warner looked like a fool, too. I don't care. Kurt Warner looked like a fool wearing two gloves.
Ooh, okay.
Keep that shit in the XFL, buddy. I don't care that you won a Super Bowl. All right, Jordan, let's talk about your Bengals. You guys have been making a lot of moves to start off free agency. To be fair, they're not the moves that you've wanted to see so far. But it has felt like there's been a concerted effort from the front office to make depth additions. Now, Cody Ford, let's start with them. He's a guy who can play 4 positions on the offensive line. He is a good depth piece. How do you feel about Cody Ford?
Okay. I kind of explained it yesterday, Doug. If he's here to compete for one of the guard positions that are open, because they are both open, hell no. I posted his stats on our Twitter feed yesterday. Yesterday I wasn't in a great mood, so it came from a bad headspace. So I apologize to some of the fans that interacted with me yesterday. I wasn't 100% clear on everything that I was talking about, but I did have points and I did have stats. Cody Ford is, he ranked. He's third tier, Doug. He's tier 3.
He is.
It's not great. His stats say that, he ranks, I think 120th overall out of like 160, 115th overall for run blocking out of 160. A little bit better for pass blocking. He ranked like 110th. So if this is a guy we want to start, hell no. If it's a guy I want to call off the bench for, okay, we're going to put an extra offensive lineman in for a 4th and 1. We're going to make a move here. We're going to go max protection because we know an all-out blitz is coming. Okay, I'm okay with Cody Ford. But for the people that got excited and was like, all right, we got a guy. No, we don't have. We have a player, not the player, not a starter. This is Cody Ford. There's a reason he's been around the league. There's a reason that he was a late addition last year, off the street, off the couch. Sometimes it's a success story, Doug, but this wasn't one of them. He serviced what we needed to service. And you look at the roster, you look at the coach, this was a Frank Pollock guy. Frank Pollock's not here anymore.
Right.
So I don't know why we're recycling guys that Frank Pollock was like, I trust him. We don't trust him, Doug. We're 28th in the run. 28th in the run. You can't finish games like that. Yeah, we have Joe Burrow. We got we got a flashy offense when it comes to the pass game. But Doug, the run has got to be there. Philadelphia Eagles, you run the ball, you win games, you win championships. So, that has to be a part of the game. Cody Ford's just not that guy. So I'm done talking about Cody Ford. It was a shitty signing. It was a Mike Brown, turnover. Let's talk about some better ones. Defensive tackle. Gilsecki resigns. I'm happy with that. But these are their guys. I want to tip my toe a little bit. Defensive tackle from the Packers, Jay Slayton. We got him for a 2-year deal. Run stopper. So we re-signed BJ Hill. We bring in Slayton to be that run guy, that DJ Reader kind of player, and he could be. He ranked and he did. He against the run. He's one of the top defensive tackles last year.
He's a rotational piece.
Yeah, he's a rotational piece. But so was Larry Ogunjobi when he was there. So was other guys that we had. But as of right now, because we don't outside those two defensive tackles, we don't have help. So right now, that's the two guys we're going to go with. We'll see what the draft hits. We signed a linebacker as well.
Oren Burks from the Eagles. Good athlete, good east and west speed.
Absolute upgrade. Now that we have Jermaine Pratt asking for a trade, so now we can stand firm on that. We can start shopping and wheeling and dealing Jermaine Pratt. But I think Burke with Logan when he's healthy, that's a good 1-2 tandem. Logan can do it all. Logan, when he's healthy, he gets 3 to 5 interceptions a year since he's been in the league. He plays well against the run and he diagnoses plays. So Burke athleticism with Logan Wilson on the field and his IQ, we might have something there. We'll see. I'm sure we'll draft another linebacker, new defensive coordinator coming in. I'm sure he's got his eye on one of the Notre Dame guys coming out or something that he saw in the playoff run. So those are the two I'm excited about. BJ Hill is a stable. He earned it. Gilsecki, he earned it. Joseph Osai, I don't love it. He finished last year with 6 sacks in the last 7 games. So he had a heater streak, but Doug, we've seen this before. Osai plays good, then Osai misses like 9 games. It's always something, injury bug. He didn't really reach the field. We haven't developed Miles Murphy, so maybe that was just a panic signing. We'll see how that folds out. But like you said, these are the depth pieces, and maybe a couple of starters are coming out of it. The Piron coming back, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't love it. It's a head scratcher. We still haven't cut. Moss is still on the roster as of today, so it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why we brought Piron back. Again, we're living in the past, I think. There's talks of us getting Larry Ogunjobi back, living in the past. That's a real
getting all the old releases back. Love it.
But I don't love it. This organization is known for doing that. We did it, predominantly in 2013 when we brought Michael Johnson back after, he didn't love his time in Tampa. And we brought Pat Sims back when he didn't love his time in the Raiders. We went out and we were like, oh, we're just going to bring people back. We're going to live in the past. So this is typical Katie Blackburn behavior, typical Duke Tobin behavior. Still, and the big ones aren't signed. There's still the Trey Hendrickson drama. Still, Chase has got to get paid, and T. Higgins under the tag. So those are the guys we need to be focusing on. Signing these mid-level, tier players and depth players back on the roster. Great, you got numbers. but when are we going to take care of business? So right now, I have a D- for all these signings. I like some of the new guys, but Doug, this is typical Bengals behavior. And I got into it with the fans yesterday. That's why we don't. It's why we blow leads. It's why we don't win close games. The rest of the league's getting better. DK Metcalf is now in the AFC North on the opposing team. Other teams are reaching out and making splashes while we're sitting on our fucking fingers, and we're just not doing it. We're okay with being middle of the pack. And that's going to be the end of my rant for today. Duke Tobin's still a piece of shit. Katie Blackburn, burn in hell. This is how I fucking feel about it. They're not doing anything. They're sitting on, $80 million in cap space, and we're not executing the things that we need to execute as a franchise. You thought you were heated? I'm heated. This is typical Ohio pro sports behavior when it comes to football.
Let's move on to something a little bit more exciting and a little bit more happy. Let's talk Cavaliers basketball. The Cavs just capped a 14-game winning streak last night in their win against the Bucks. Jordan, 14 straight. Not the first time this team's done it. Not the second time the team's done it. This is the third time the Cavs have won this many games in a row this year. How you feeling, man? This team is rocking. It doesn't always look great against, teams that aren't on their level, but they've gotten the job done when it matters most, Jordan. And last night they were able to do it again. And they were able to do it with contributions from everybody. Max Strus led them in scoring last night. Everybody, 5 guys were in the teens. Dean Wade had 9 points. Ty Jerome had 9. Sam Merrill had 9. Everybody contributed last night in a different way. A team victory over a Bucks team that's not a good team. They have Giannis. They have Lillard. 2 stars, but the Cavs overwhelmed them late in the game and were able to pull away with the victory. How do you feel about after last night? Because I don't think it really changes anything, but it was a nice win over a team who's going to probably end up with the 3 or 4 seed come playoff time.
I want to give Lopez his flowers too, because he had some great defensive plays against Cleveland. At his age, he didn't put it up on the scoreboard, but he does a lot of dirty work. But that the Bucks they're not a complete team. They have some stars and then they have some pieces. And that the Cavaliers though, Doug, we're winning in every way possible right now. Like you said, one night it's Strus. Against Boston it was Donovan Mitchell became the Spider. And other games we have Garland stepping up. Then we got our backcourt stepping up. We have Hunter. It's just so many different combinations. And I think this, because we've seen them win before, but Doug, this is a team we've never seen a Cavs team quite like this, where it could be Evan Mobley one night, where it could be Jared Allen that goes off on a massive double-double. This team is, does it feel like can I say complete roster? I know we're probably missing maybe a ball handler or two.
When it comes to Backup big is the only thing I would say that they're actually missing. But from top to bottom, I would say this is pretty damn complete.
And I just think we've never seen a team like that. We've always had LeBron and some stars or some superstars, if you want to the year that Kyrie and him played together, and that's and some pieces that shooters that went around him that were streaky. They weren't consistent. So to see a team that's, meshed together for consistency. I mean, that's how you win 14, 15 games in the association. And everybody's giving them, Doug. And I think late we're like, oh, man, they're not playing their best ball. I think we finally have the bullseye on our back. I think every team that we play is playing their best game against Cleveland because, now we're on primetime. Now we're on ESPN. Now we're on extended networks and we're getting the coverage. Now we have, Charles Barkley, laughing at ESPN insiders like, all they talk about is LA. They're not talking. He called out the Cavs. He said the Cavs were doing it for 6 months. So, yeah Doug, I think this is if there's ever a time, it is now or never for this team. I'm going to label that what we said about Ohio State football. It's championship or bust for the Cleveland Cavaliers this year with this roster. And, we're never going to have two guys playing for the sixth man of the year again. These things just don't happen. So the depth is here. The ball handling is here. Maybe we'll pick up another, big right before the playoffs. We'll see, we'll see what the buyout market looks like next week. But Doug, I think it's championship or bust right now. We've shown we can beat Boston. We split it 2-2. The Knicks, we've handled them pretty swiftly. The Bucks, we've handled. Orlando, that gave us trouble last year. We've rose above them. We had trouble against Atlanta earlier in the season, but I think those problems are fixed. So how do you feel about it? I've kind of went on my rant, but
you've been all about the rant
where do you
tonight.
see?
Jesus Christ! Quick shout out to David. We're doing good here, David. He said, "What up, gents? Thanks for tuning in with us. Talk a little Cavs basketball." Jordan, the team 54-10. Like you said, the roster we've touched on, it feels very complete. It feels like a legitimate NBA championship quality team. I feel really good. I feel really good about this team. I only worry about two teams right now in the NBA. I think there's two teams that would be difficult for the Cavs, 6-7 game series type situations. That's Boston. That's OKC. That still remains the same, but I feel really good. I feel really good about how this team performs in the fourth quarters. I think that sets them apart from a lot of teams. Their ability to Cavalanche, like they what did they just did they just market that one, brand that one? That was they've done a great job with that. I feel like this is my favorite Cavs team, Jordan, since the 2016 team. This is my favorite team, other than 2016 when they won the NBA title. I feel like this is the best team. This is the most complete team we've had ever outside of LeBron carrying the Cavs for all those years. And that's really special. This is a team that I don't think we're going to forget in a few years, Jordan. I think this is a team we're going to look back on and have extremely fond memories and maybe make an NBA Finals. I mean, I think this team is good enough to do it. I think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar who's not afraid of the Celtics. I just need everybody else on that same page when we play the Celtics. And, we've got, 18 games left, Jordan? 54 wins. If this team really wanted to, they could put the pedal to the metal, Jordan, and try to win 70 games. I wouldn't recommend that, Jordan, but it's definitely possible to win 70 games with this team. I think 65. If you top out at 65, I think that's probably enough. I think they need to play Javonte Green more minutes. David, I don't think that's an issue, but it's hard to get these minutes because of how good everybody else is playing right now. Where do you slide them in for those minutes? When you've got Dean Wade playing effective minutes, you've got Hunter playing effective minutes, you've got Okoro playing some of the best minutes of his career recently. There's a lot of these wing guys that they have, and I like the addition of Javonte Green. He is a great extra depth piece. I agree that a big off the bench would help, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to pull off another move with the way they've got the roster laid out, because of now that they're working in the small lineups, Jordan. They're working with Dean Wade at the 5, DeAndre Hunter, and we're seeing the effectiveness of those lineups. I like what Kenny Atkinson's doing. I like that he is able to pick and place guys in different roles, and then try it in these early season, or not early season, but these games that, hey, we're locked into the playoffs. We know we're fighting for the 1 seed. We know we've got pretty close to having that locked up unless something catastrophic happens. We can work on some of these different lineups. We can get guys different, more minutes. And I really enjoy that. Jordan, this week, 3 games after last week's 4-game sweep. We've got Brooklyn tomorrow night at home. We're at Memphis on Friday. And then Sunday at 1 on ABC, we've got Orlando. I think we both agree Brooklyn, easy win. They'll probably make it closer than it needs to be, because that's kind of what we've done recently with some of those type teams. At Memphis will be fun, Jordan. At Memphis was a fun match, or Memphis was a fun matchup the last time the two teams played. And then, versus Orlando. I don't think Orlando can beat the Cavs. Orlando's offense is just so abysmal. They don't have anything outside of Franz and Paulo. I think we beat them. What do you think the record is for the Cavs after this week?
I worry. I'd say I worry about Memphis a little bit. I think that's going to be a little bit competitive, depending on the health of Memphis. You can't they're a Western team. They've got Jamont. They've got some other players. They have Edie, playing more minutes because of injury, so that we all know what he can do. We watched him at Wisconsin in the Big Ten, or Purdue. I'm sorry, for the Big Ten. So that they have some pieces. I see it 3-0, but I think that Memphis game is going to come down to some physical play there at the end.
Well, it also depends, Jordan.
They have some good size.
It also depends. After a 4-game week last week, Jordan, I would suspect a couple guys could be resting throughout the week. So I think 2-1.
Brooklyn game.
I think 2-1 could be a possibility just because of who's resting. And then quick shout out, 675 live viewers right now. Thanks for David. Thanks for Ricky in the chat. Thanks for Roger in this chat. Thank you guys for keeping it going. David, good point. Nothing is easy in the NBA, but there are teams that you are better than top to bottom. And I think Brooklyn is one of those teams, regardless of who sits out. I think they beat Brooklyn. Memphis feels like a game that could be interesting if Mitchell sits out, if Garland sits out. Mobley or Allen takes a rest day, and then they come back and they beat Orlando on Sunday. I think 2-1 is solid for me, Jordan. Any last thoughts on the Cavs before we keep it moving?
No, I think we've hit it pretty well. It's all going to be, just pray to the basketball gods. Health, and more health. That's that. I mean, that, like you said, Doug. We're wrapping up the regular season, and and Kenny Atkinson, we 100% trust with the minutes distribution in the rest days. So, I think they're primed. I think we're going to be okay.
Definitely agree. Let's transition, Jordan. College basketball. We are in March, Jordan. We are getting towards the conference championships for the bigger conferences. Let's talk about this past week in hoops, though. A lot happening, Jordan. Friday night, the Dayton Flyers. The Dayton Flyers, Jordan, on Friday night, when they needed it most, when they had to have it, Jordan, they beat VCU 79-76 at VCU to keep their hopes alive, Jordan. They still probably have to win the A-10 tournament, but they keep the hopes alive in a must-win game. A great game. It's always a rock fight with the VCU Rams, but they pull it out. Javon Bennett had 22. Every other starter in double figures. Just an excellent game, top to bottom, man. How did you feel about that game?
Man, I was, I lost a little bit of fingernails. I was peeling them off, but definitely, I think it would. If there ever was a statement win, outside of the couple wins we had on the Maui that seem like a distant memory now. This was it. This was the win, and that's not a shot, but it's in Watertown because you go back to that 22-point loss, about 4 weeks ago, and now we're I think we're riding a 4-game. The Dayton Flyers are riding a 4-game winning streak, going into the Atlantic 10 tournament. Doug, that's exactly what you needed. I would consider VCU a quad 2 win, if not like bottom quad 1. That's exactly what you needed, not only on the resume, but for the double bye going into the tournament, for the Atlantic 10 tournament over in Washington, D.C. So, Doug, this, like you said, that perfect timing. This team seems to be clicking. They're doing it in different ways. It's not always pretty. They go through some streaks, but, they're finding a way. And let me ask you this, because you were kind of calling for a change. Do you feel like Anthony Grant is still the guy? Or do you still stand on wanting to change it up next season? And maybe that's a conversation we'll have, at the end of March.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change. Enough's enough. Breaking down the A-10 tournament here, they will play the winner of St. Joseph's or UMass or LaSalle. Those teams kick off tomorrow during the day. So Dayton will play the winner of St. Joe's and LaSalle or UMass in their next round. Let's talk about the Ohio State Buckeyes, Jordan. Ouch. God dang, man. That one
blew it.
Yeah. I mean, flat out. They blew it. And that's all you can say. And that's been the story all year, Jordan. All year we've talked about it. The inconsistency of Diebler's teams, and it came back to bite them. 66-60. They lose at Indiana. in my opinion, that takes them out of being in the tournament. And I think they've got to win 2 or 3 games in the Big Ten tournament right now. What do you think there? Because they just came up short. They got beat by 10 in the second half. There was just nothing left. The offense is so rudimentary. There is just nothing special about the Ohio State offense right now when you watch them play. And yeah, they got beat by a team who's better than them. What are your thoughts?
But that's the thing that bothers me. That for a big portion of the game, Doug, Ohio State was better. They were up at 10 at one point, going late in the second, not late, but mid into the second half. Just the turnovers, even during the run when they trimmed it down, to 6, they had 2 consecutive turnovers right after they made the threes. They came down, they made our foul shots. We cut it to 6, and just and uncharacteristic too, stepping out of bounds. 5 seconds here, like these aren't turnovers for inaccurate passes or something wild or something that could be prevented. This is it's fundamentals. It's like the fundamentals went out the door for the last probably 2.5 minutes of the game. And that's what really cost them, Doug, because other than that, they were in a dogfight. But that's been the story. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. That's been the story with Diebler's team this year. Inconsistency and more inconsistency. So, Doug, that they have to win 3 games for the Big Ten tournament to even play in Dayton for the first round of it for the play-in. So I don't think it's going to happen. I think that if they do take an invitation, it's going to be for the NIT, and that's going to be Diebler's going to be coaching NIT games for his job. If he doesn't win NIT, I'd kick him out. I'd say enough is enough. We're in the NIL world. We don't talk about it as much in basketball, but it is, there is NIL money. There is, this is a business, Doug.
It is a business, 100%.
We can't halt business at the Ohio State University for basketball. They got to get on the level of their other sports. They got to get on the level of their football. They got to be prestigious. And Diebler's just not cutting it right now.
No, and it's, I agree with that. Tomorrow night they play, or what is that? Wednesday night at 6:00 on Peacock, they play Iowa in the first round of the Big Ten tournament, Jordan. That's going to be a tough game, man. Iowa's in the same boat. And they got to win games here in the NCAA tournament. I would say Ohio State's probably a slight favorite, but you're setting up yourself to play against just the best teams when you finish this poorly in the Big Ten. So I think that's definitely an issue also. I'm looking forward to watching them play on Wednesday, Jordan, but I don't have a lot of faith in this team anymore. I just don't believe that they can get it done offensively for 2 halves. They haven't proven to me in a while that they can consistently get it done. I'm worried about Diebler's job if this doesn't go well. I know the Ohio State AD said that he is safe for next season, but those things can change very quickly, Jordan. So those are the 2 teams right now. Keep going.
No, I'm just saying donors have the loudest voice right now. As much as the athletic director wants to say that, athletic directors don't have the same leeway and push that they did in the in the pre-NIL era, and what you could take that to the bank, but not when you're paying players and you're trying to get guys to come in a portal and come to your school. So if it doesn't go well, I think he's out. I think you say that you're not going to say that while your team's fighting for a tournament spot, because you're not going to degrade your team or the coach when you're in the thick of it, per se. But I just think that's propaganda. I think that was a propaganda. I'm with him. I'm behind him. And come Thursday, I think it's going to be a different story, Doug. So.
Okay. Tonight at 10:00, Youngstown State versus Cleveland State in the Horizon League tournament. That is the semifinal. The winner of that game plays Robert Morris in the Horizon League Championship. Shout out to both those teams. They're on a great run. On Thursday, we'll talk a little bit more of the NCAA tournament. Jordan, let's keep it moving. FC Cincinnati gets back in the winner's circle with their 2-0 win over Toronto. My guy Kevin Dinky with a goal there. I had him for a goal on my bets. So shout out to Kevin Dinky for getting it done. Jordan, it was nice to see these guys get back and get a win. They needed that win. Toronto's not a good club, but you got to go out there and perform, and you got to go out and get the goals where you can. Any thoughts on that Toronto and FC Cincinnati game?
Big rebound morale wise. They look cleaner. I was able to watch most of the highlights the next day. This team it looks engaged, and a part of the rebuild, a part of the new faces, Doug, is winning the games you're supposed to win. Like you said, Toronto wasn't as good as a club as FC Cincinnati, so taking care of business when you're supposed to take care of business, is also a part of winning. So, big shout out to FC, Cincinnati, turn it around. Winning is contagious, so is losing. So hopefully we can continue the streak.
And then tomorrow night, Jordan, they play Tigres again in the round of 16 for the CONCACAF Champions Cup. It's 1-1 right now because they had that tie the other night. So need some goals tomorrow night, dude. Need some goals badly tomorrow night to keep that run going in the CONCACAF. We'll talk about the results of that on Thursday. But Jordan, FC Cincinnati, continues to be a fun watch for us. Really enjoying watching, and getting to learn more about the team and the players. Dinky, my guy, I'm going to continue to ride with him. $10 every time FC Cincinnati plays for him to score a goal. Don't let me down, Dinky. I have you again tomorrow night. You're my guy. But let's transition to news and notes time, Jordan. Blue Jackets, buddy. Blue Jackets the other night, getting all over it. 7 goals the other night, Jordan. That was crazy. 7 goals. What was that, last night? Was that last night? Yeah. 7-3 over the Rangers last night. Absolutely just incredible. 7 goals is nuts. So I did want to shout them out quickly in the news and notes section. They're still fighting for that wild card spot. A lot of time left in the NHL season, but it's good to see them get back into the winning ways after losing 2 straight to the Lightning, and the Panthers needed that win against the Rangers last night, Jordan.
100%. They were on the losing streak. We talked about it on the last show, last Thursday night. We were both a little bit, maybe we should quit talking about them because we talked them up. They had their big moment, at home in the NHL. What is the new NHL Classic there, at the Ohio State University. So glad to see them finally getting a win column, but in a big way. I think, points, goals matter, all that, all the statistics. So anytime you can put yourself ahead and get a dominant win. I mean, 7 goals in hockey is that, that's an ass whooping. That's like losing, 35 plus points in football. So definitely happy to see him get back in the win column, and, let's keep it going, boys. You're almost there. Lock up that wild card in the East, and we'll be talking some NHL playoff hockey hopefully here soon.
Hell yeah. Moving on to the next news and notes section. Eddie George has now became the head football coach of your Bowling Green Falcons. I believe he signed a 5-year deal with Bowling Green. It's just awesome. That gives us a little bit more reason to follow Bowling Green and root for Bowling Green. Eddie George, obviously a absolute legend in the state of Ohio, Heisman winner, the iconic number 27. It's great to see. Great for him to get that next level job and getting to move up the ladder a little bit. So definitely want to shout out Eddie George taking over that Bowling Green job. It's just awesome. Just super happy for Eddie George, and I'm really excited for Bowling Green because a guy with Eddie George's background, that's only going to help with recruiting. That's only going to get more NIL dollars. It's gonna help this team sooner than later. So I'm excited for Eddie George.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Instant impact. The Maction just gets bigger going into next year. And, Eddie George, like you said, as a player, as a person, both on and off the field, has always conducted himself accordingly. And, this is big, especially, like you said, in the NIL world, in the portal world, in the transfer, the recruiting trail, you name it. I mean, now you're like, Mom, Eddie George is coming to the house. I mean, it's
right.
Like that, that's a big deal. And some of these top level athletes that are just trying to crack in and maybe use the MAC as a springboard, now you can go to a guy like Eddie George who knows the business, who knows the NFL, knows how to win as an individual for stats. So I mean, this is huge, and great for the MAC as a conference, great for the state of Ohio for some of these smaller brands. So I'm super excited. I can't wait to cover it. Can't wait to see what the impact is. We'll see what becomes of it.
Yeah, excited for Eddie George and Bowling Green. UFC 313 was this past weekend. There were some really good fights on the card. Justin Gaethje got a win over Rafael Fiziev, and then Alex Pereira and Magomed Ankalaev for the light heavyweight championship. It was a fight that never really got going for me. It felt like they kind of canceled each other out. There was a lot of, leg kicks. There was a lot of kind of stalling. There was a kind of, holding on and getting control that way. There wasn't a shit ton of action in this fight, but the rest of the card was very exciting. I just felt like Jordan, in my opinion, you have to go out and you have to, cement your victory over the champion. And I don't feel like Ankalaev really cemented himself over Pereira, but I also thought Pereira was oddly not as active as he was usually on the feet. And that could be because Ankalaev's a monster in his own right, but we have a new champion. Ankalaev is the new champion of the light heavyweight division. And, props to him for taking the challenge and getting the win, but a little disappointed in the result and the actual fight. I expected a little bit more out of those two guys.
Doug, I think that's because of all those reasons that you just kind of laid out. I think we'll get a round two sooner than later. I think we'll get the definition of fighting. I think we'll get a rubber match, especially if both fighters can kind of agree that it wasn't their best stuff on that evening. So, but congratulations. I'm not going to take anything away from the win, but most certainly I did watch it. So I, like you, I won't say let down because this is an incredible sport. It takes incredible talent, something I'll never be able to do. But it definitely, in a sense of the hype and everything that was going into it didn't live up to it. So right. I think in this industry, Doug, we're going to see a round two, and it just feels right. Hopefully Dana White can get it done sooner than later.
Definitely. Well said. And then last but not least, Reds opening day countdown. 17 days. Yes. Woo! That is Aaron bleeping Boone standing there in the middle of that picture. A legend in Cincinnati. I always enjoyed watching Aaron Boone play, man. I always enjoyed watching him play third base for the Reds. Not so much as the Yankees manager, but, everything in between. I always enjoyed Aaron Boone. Hell of a player. Jordan, 17 days, man. It's almost here. We're ready for it. We're ready for it. Red Hot Reds. Our Reds baseball show here on Ohio Sports Talk. They're ready for it. They're excited. They're working on building up their show. They've got guests coming. They've got all kinds of stuff working over there. Excited for them. Excited for Reds baseball this season, Jordan. Any final thoughts before we get out of here today, buddy?
No, just like you said, not enough can be said right now about the excitement for the Reds. We've got Ellie doing well. We've got some other guys hitting some bombers. And just Terry Francone in general, that was enough for me to be back in. That was my Godfather 3 moment for the Reds. Just when I thought I was out, they bring me back in. So, definitely want to relate that. And Doug, it's been a hell of a show. We covered a shit ton tonight.
We did.
So I don't have anything else on my mind right now. We'll continue to We'll continue to track free agency. If I can speak tonight,
we're not fracking. We are not fracking. We do not frack on the show. Fracking is an interesting topic. If we can get into that next week, well said. 900. Just hit over 900 live viewers. Thank you, guys. Please go check out the YouTube channel. That's where you can catch all of our videos. If you're not able to watch them live, go to YouTube. We obviously link all that stuff. We post it all again. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you to everybody in the comments tonight. Great comment section. We appreciate David, a new watcher, a new commenter. We appreciate that. Great stuff. Again, we will be back live Thursday night at 9:00, and we're bringing back the X-Files rewatch I've been so busy recently getting everything together and living life that I have not been able to rewatch episode 2 on Thursday night. We will get back to that because Jordan and I obviously love that. As you could see, that's why I got Jordan the I Want to Believe poster.
Yes.
So we will be back Thursday night. A shit ton of more sports to talk about. Conference tournaments have started. We'll talk just free agency. There's so much good stuff going on in sports right now. Thank you to everybody who tuned in for us tonight. Again, see you guys live Thursday night, 9:00. This has been Ohio Sports Talk. I'm the host, Doug. That's the coach, Jordan Maxon. See you guys next time.